Welcome back to the middle of the road. This is episode 4. I'm Justin Keys.
And I'm John Burgess.
It's August 22nd.
It is.
And a shit ton has happened this week.
It has, actually. It's depends on where you want to start, really.
It's like a bad James Bond movie.
Yeah. You could say that. You know, like, what's your biggest news story of the week?
Oh, where do we begin?
I mean, can you pick one? Because I got one, but that one kind of leads to 2 or 3. So.
Oh, they all.
What's your big story of the week?
You know what? That right there.
Anywho, no, it's all good, man. We're learning this. We'll figure it all out. But anywho, this past week for me, it's been crazy, dude, because I'm trying to get ready for this camping trip.
Where you going?
I'm going to Summersville Lake, Battle Run.
Battle Run?
Yes, sir. Like, almost every campsite's right on the water's edge. Like, I'm less than 10, 20 yards from my boat.
Is it past yuppie season?
Yes, it should be. I'm pretty sure yuppie season ends in September.
Nothing where I hate when I go to a really nice campground, but can't get any sun because there's 2 RVs bigger than my home parked on either side of me.
No, see, if I can get to the point, dude, they have great primitive sites. They're like up on top of a hillside overlooking the rest of the campground. There's 8 of them. No power, no water. It's like primitive. If I could get to that point, but with my family, man, we need all the power we can get.
That's how I want to camp, though.
I would be okay camping like that. But when I bring my family, we get the power. And this particular campground, you have to go up at the beginning of the campground and fill your water jugs. So there's not water at the site, but so I can't wait for that.
You got to carry all your own water.
Nah, you
Oh no! I always have to, like, everywhere I camp is primitive.
Yeah, it won't be carrying your water. I'm gonna pull up in my car and ooh, excuse me.
I've camped in places where you had to filter all your own water.
Yeah, no, I'm not that quite there. You know what I mean? You know.
True story.
I mean,
I got with Joni and I decided I was going to take her and my daughter backpacking down at Glade Creek. I've never done anything. Okay, no, I have. I've done a couple stupid things on my adventures. I got lost in Cranberry Glades for over 48 hours. But we get out of the car. There's this real pretty covered bridge and a trail going off in the distance. I thought that was a trail. We ended up hiking along the New River, and then it started raining real bad, so I set up camp.
You know what? I'm 100% sure there's a horror story that starts off very similar to this covered bridge, pretty little trail that goes off into the middle of nowhere. Did you find the gingerbread house? Is all we want to know right now.
No, but we ended up flooded in and stranded for at least a night.
Oh, that's insane.
That was great. They learned all about survivability and, you know, started a fire, ate some dinner, set up the hammocks, went to sleep. Went to go to the bathroom the next morning, saw big bear tracks. We finally get out of there the next day, and I look over and I see these big rubber mats in the ground and this real big wide gravel trail. Looks like a four-wheeler road. And I go over there and look, and there's a sign that says Glade Creek Trail. And there's, like, you know, the kids walking with their towels to go to the swimming hole up the way. And I'm just standing there like, oh, we went the wrong way. But now the Glade Creek Trail was one of my favorite trout fishing spots.
In hindsight, after getting lost, I did find a great trout hole. So, so there's always a positive out of that one. But.
All right, so
your big story of the week. What you got?
Big story of the week is Cold War 2.0. Now this is a report from India. I'll have you know, India isn't on our side. Well, I mean, no, wait.
I mean, they're an ally, no, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, let me stop that. India has caught on to American politics in its current state. This is a 8-minute video. We can watch it.
I say you just sum it up. 8 minutes is a long time.
Well, okay. Well, basically, what they're saying is that this is not what the U.S. is advertising it as. This is India news from WION, and it's just an example of the rest of the globe's opinion of the United States when it comes to the issues in the Ukraine. And mostly, you know, when you say the UN, the whole world hears an S. We have been the curators and the definers of the United Nations for years.
Well, yeah.
We've been the wallet.
Absolutely.
We've been the voice.
And we've been the defender of every other nation on that panel. So
yeah.
Shouldn't we have the loudest voice? But I'm interested to hear.
That's here or there. Yeah, probably. But
I mean, I'm just saying.
But everybody needs to chip in there at least fair share in a percentage manner. I understand.
Yeah, and I get it.
I understand,
but, you know,
there's a couple countries down Africa way that has some extra money laying around now. Maybe they can chip in.
And I get that, but like that was one of many things that Trump did that I didn't agree with. You know what I mean? Like, our country is bigger than every other NATO or UN country damn near combined. Like, we should pay for the majority of it because we're bigger than all of y'all. But with that being said, were they paying their share based off of their population or how they determine what their share is? That is the where. But we should pay the bigger proportion of it. We're bigger.
Not if we're going to come protect you on our wallet when you get in trouble.
Right, but we're bigger.
That's always been my issue. Like, we're going to pay all our money to the UN, but when we got to go into the Ukraine to protect them, that's coming out of our wallet.
No, see, I don't.
Where's the UN's money?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, not us. Like, paying money. We provide the defense. That's how we pay. We have the strongest military.
Pay dividends.
Yeah, so that's something. I don't know how it actually works, but
it's like a weird little war club. I'm giving you money so I can come blow people up.
So I can join your club.
It's like a big giant Hostel.
Yeah.
Remember the movie Hostel? It's like a big giant version of Hostel. But anyway, let's
3 heads of state assembled in Crimea to discuss the reorganization of Europe. Franklin Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin. They held the historic Yalta Conference, a summit that was meant to establish peace but ended up dividing Europe into 2 camps, an American camp and a Soviet camp, a Western alliance and an Eastern alliance. Germany was the first to be divided. It was split into 4 zones, the British, the French, the American and the Soviet. 4 years after the war ended, the divisions widened, the camps grew in size, the Western alliance was formalized into an organization. It was called the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. An association of 12 states. The Eastern Alliance was formalized into a pact, the Warsaw Pact, an association of 8 states. Then came the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between these 2 camps. It lasted for over 4 decades and divided the entire world. By the end of 1961, this is what the divisions looked like. More than 40 countries in the American camp, more than 15 countries in the Soviet camp, and 18 non-aligned nations, plus respective zones of influence. With each passing year, the divisions sharpened, the factions expanded, the respective leaders of these camps began pursuing a policy of containment, restricting each other's zones of influence. They never really fought directly, but they waged proxy wars and conflicts, like the 1950 Korean War, the 1955 Vietnam War, the 1960 Congo crisis, the 1967 Cambodian Civil War, the 1979 Soviet-Afghan War. These wars were accompanied by regime changes, the installation of puppet leaders, orchestrated revolutions, manufactured unrest, all deftly curated by these two superpowers, the Soviet Union and the United States of America. The Cold War ended in 1991 with the disintegration of the Soviet Union. 3 decades on, is history repeating itself? Look at what's playing out in our world today. Ukraine is at war, Europe is divided, and so is the rest of the world. Is this another Cold War? And more importantly, who is winning this one? Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. The war in Ukraine is reshaping the world order. This map tells you the story. The war has created two clear camps. On Ukraine's side is most of Europe, along with the United States, Canada, and their allies. On Russia's side are Belarus, China, North Korea, Iran, and a few other countries. Each camp is trying to outwit the other, resist the other's diplomatic maneuvers. Their leaders are going on state visits, trying to pull new countries onto their side. In the month of May, US President Joe Biden visited Tokyo to attend the Quad Summit. The same month, the Russian Foreign Minister went to Riyadh to attend a GCC summit. In July, Biden visited Israel and Saudi Arabia to repair ties. A week later, Putin landed in Iran to forge a new economic alliance. The list of such tit-for-tat visits is long. In July and August, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov visited Vietnam and Myanmar to drum up support. In response, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Cambodia and the Philippines.
Did you know all this was going on?
Well, I mean, not from her perspective, no. But you can see it. I mean, you can see it. You can see it. But that doesn't, I don't know.
Alliances are being built, my friend.
Of course they are. You have to. You almost have to, especially in this world. I mean, it seems to
Then
be.
the two leaders tested their clout in Africa.
I didn't mean to start it so abruptly.
Lavrov toured 4 African countries: Egypt, Ethiopia, Uganda, and the Republic of Congo. Days later, Blinken went to South Africa, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. What do these visits tell you? That a new power competition has begun, a geopolitical struggle to set the rules of global conduct. It's being called Cold War 2.0, and it is clear that the US is not winning this one. Its charm offensive is not really working. Most countries do not want to side with the US. They're resisting Biden's pressure campaign. They're rejecting America's attempts to lead the world. Case in point, Saudi Arabia. Biden went to Riyadh with one primary objective. He wanted to convince Saudi Arabia to dump Russia, to increase its oil production. Despite a controversial fist bump with Crown Prince MBS, Biden failed to achieve this objective. In an embarrassing blow last week, OPEC, or the Organization of Petroleum Export Countries, told Biden that they will not increase the oil output. You know what's even more embarrassing? The statement by the Secretary General of OPEC. He wants Russia to remain a part of OPEC Plus. He says Moscow's membership is crucial to the success of their organization.
Yeah, because Russia exports oil.
Around the same time, and
But anyway, that this goes on for another 5 minutes. But
yeah, we could talk for another hour just based off what she said so far.
right.
So yeah, she's got a point there, but almost everything that she just said in the last 2 minutes about oil can be solved if we just get the right leadership in. Because I'm telling you, man, everybody says that completing the Keystone Pipeline, it's not really our oil, and I get that. That's oil being pumped from Canada. But what that does is it pumps that oil into our refineries to be refined. So we make a profit off of that oil that's being refined.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that alone will catapult us right back to the top.
Well, and hitting home here.
I mean,
Joe Manchin signed a new spending bill based on the fact that Joe Biden promised a new pipeline would come through West Virginia. Joe Biden came to you, Joe, and said, I'm going to give you a pipeline in your state. And you didn't look at Joe thinking, hey, Mr. Biden, you've shut down every pipeline and oil field in the country. Why would you give me what's this pipeline going to pump? Exactly. We've already got pipelines coming through the state. The cops can't shut them down. Wish they would.
No, I mean, but you know, a lot of what she said with Joe Biden, in lack of better terms, begging Saudi Arabia to pump more oil. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, he could have done the same thing and went down south to Venezuela, or they got just as much oil.
He did, but Venezuela is better friends with Russia than...
Yeah, that's true. That's true, but you had a better chance at that because at least you're not really... You know, you literally... What was it? 18 months? Has it been 2 years since the campaign? Or whenever it was when Joe Biden...
2022, yeah.
When Joe Biden literally... Like, his exact words were somewhere around the Crown Prince is a terrorist-ish. You remember that?
A murder. I believe the exact...
Was it a murder? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck you... If I was him, I'd be like, dude, don't even cross our airspace right now. You literally just called our prince a murderer. Like, you're not even allowed in our airspace. Stay the fuck out.
Why don't we buy oil from Venezuela, John?
Russian bombers are in Venezuela. Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's Time Magazine, sir.
You know, I mean, yeah, it's a good source, and that doesn't surprise me because I've heard that before.
Yeah.
It's no different than we have troops in Poland.
So if we did buy oil from Venezuela, which honestly I think we did. Russia's government has sent bombers halfway around the world to Venezuela, and Venezuelan people should see this for what it is. Two corrupt governments squandering public funds and squelching liberty and freedom while their people suffer.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Pompeo kind of nailed that.
Yes, sir, he did.
I would like to take a moment though, and however anybody feels about it, and mention just how absolutely badass those bombers are. Yeah, those planes.
That looks like a Concorde jet or something. Or what was that? Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
The like speed of sound jet that was in the 90s. It could fly from New York to London in like 17 minutes or something.
That's what it is.
What was that fucking thing called? Was it a Concorde?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
That's what it is.
Well, they're supposed to be coming out with another one that can fly from New York to LA in under an hour. Is what I heard also. No idea if that's true, but are you a Game of Thrones kind of person?
You know what? I watched one season of Game of Thrones.
Well, that's why I was asking. I'm not a big fan either. Well, I can't say that. I've not seen one episode, so I might be a fan if I watched it. I'm just not that committed.
I can't tell you, I'm not that. I'm too ADD.
I'm not that committed.
Only TV show I really watch hardcore is Alone.
I did watch every episode of Sons of Anarchy, but I did not do it on a week-to-week basis. Like those people that watch a series for like 4, 5, 6 years, week to week to week, they might be a level of psychotic that I just can't understand.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I can't follow stuff like that for 4 or 5 years, week after week, man. Watching Sons of Anarchy on Hulu, I binge watched like every episode when I was at work and had nothing to do. And, dude, just going 30 seconds from one episode to another had my fucking anxiety up. I was like, I can't wait for the next episode.
24. Dude, I was in
24 was a good one
when it was on.
Burn Notice was one that I got into for a minute.
Love Burn Notice. I watched the new MacGyver remake.
It probably can't be that good.
You know what MacGyver didn't need in our day? 2 people working on computers to help him out.
No. Oh, so MacGyver has an earpiece now with a crew working in an office somewhere?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Giving him a map of the building. And MacGyver, my generation, needed a coat hanger.
Right. And some duct tape. Belt. You can't forget the duct tape. He always had some duct tape. That shit was...
I mean, I'll be honest. That wall in the episode with the conveyor belt and the coat hanger, that wall was drywall. He could have grabbed her and thrown her through it. And not hurt her.
But that's the great 80s and early 90s movie magic, man. That wall looked real as shit. And the only reason why you know it was drywall because you went back and watched it as an adult, and you were like, "That shit looks fake." As a kid, you thought that was some real stuff. I'm telling you, man. I remember being a kid, and I wanted to grow up to be the what was it, the $6 billion dude.
All right, the White Swan bombers that are parked in Venezuela. The Tu-160 is a multi-curvature wing aircraft where the bomber commander can choose the degree of wing curvature according to the mission and flight. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Do American planes do that?
I'm sure we have one.
The White Swan is considered at present among the best long-range strategic bombers due to its high radar capabilities, its ability to fly long distance, more than 8,000 kilometers, and it can travel 14,000 kilometers without refueling. Okay. Can be refueled during flight. Okay. The maximum flight speed of this plane reaches 2,200 kilometers per hour, while the maximum altitude exceeds 16,000 meters, which means it has the able to fly even in the upper layers of the atmosphere.
Bro, that just said it can fly up to 14,000 kilometers. So, you could fly around the world in 40,000 kilometers. It's like 1/3.
Has the ability to fly even in the upper layers of the atmosphere.
30%. He could fly from one side of the world to another almost.
The White Swan is the largest hypersonic plane in the world in size and weight, and the largest terms of thrust. Wow. It's also able to carry a record weight of ammunition and armament with a nuclear conventional bomb. It can carry tens of tons of ammunition to anywhere in the world, making it a means effective restrain any potential enemies. So it's the heaviest in terms of takeoff weight among combat aircraft.
So that means it needs a real runway. It needs a long runway.
It's hypersonic. It can carry tens of tons for
hundreds of tons.
14,000 kilometers without refueling.
That's unreal. It's unreal.
And those are parked in Venezuela. I don't even want to get into that today. But
no, it's all good.
There you go. Mar-a-Lago.
No. But don't get. don't get off that subject. I got a little. I got a little venture off into my big story of the week.
Oh, yes.
Kind of on the same subject ish.
Oh.
So, you heard about Putin's right-hand man, hey?
Which one?
The one that almost got blown the fuck up the other day.
Your daughter got killed?
Yeah. That bomb was meant for him. He chose at the last minute to get into a different car. That bomb was meant for him. That is going to escalate this Ukraine thing into a way that you can't.
Are we accusing Putin? Are we accusing the CIA?
Putin's accusing the CIA. They're accusing Ukraine. They're accusing. Yeah.
Well, you've seen what he did with the nuclear depot.
So,
he pulled his troops out of the nuclear depot. He said, "I have intelligence." Now, when Putin says, "I have intelligence," I don't care how you feel about Putin. Putin has intelligence, if nothing else.
Well, he's a former KGB, so
exactly.
I mean,
so he said, "I have intelligence that they are going to perform a self-destruction operation on that nuclear plant, and I don't want to be having any of my troops anywhere near it." So he just pulled right out. Just, you know what? Take the nuclear plant. If there's something happen there, then it wasn't us. I mean,
no, I don't know.
He's definitely playing some spy games.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He definitely, the workers that work there, he sent them home the other day. Yes, that part I did read. But the Russian military still controls that nuclear power plant.
Oh,
in Ukraine, it's on Ukraine soil. So yeah, I can't say that I would be dropping bombs near a nuclear power plant. That sounds reckless to me. Somebody is. It's all over the news. Like bombs like 20, 30 yards outside the gates of the plant.
I feel like he's showing the world the CIA. I mean, like everything that happens.
But dude, just like, a botched plan like that has the CIA written all over it.
And it's not that
it just does.
Russian missiles fall in Ukrainian town.
When was the last time
2 missiles with Russian writing don't explode? Like, really?
When was the last time you heard anything about anybody being taken out by the CIA?
You don't.
But you heard about this one. Now, of course, it has to be. And when I say CIA, you can put all the alphabets under one roof. I don't give a shit which one it is. What is the British one? MI6? Even Libya's got their own. Everybody's got their own little special forces. All these little alphabet soup. You know what I'm saying? And they all know each other. This was definitely a hit. Because they've classified this guy as Vladimir Putin's brains. Like, this is his thinking guy, his strategist. This is his guy.
And you just killed his daughter.
This ain't no fat general.
He might have been the guy telling him not to nuke you guys, too.
Might have been.
He might have been the guy going, now calm down. Now you got him, like, you know what? Do whatever you needed. I mean.
And he was supposed to get in that car. And whatever happened. I think I read it was like 10 miles down the road. And boom.
That poor guy, dude. That's horrific, though.
Yep.
To lose your daughter.
Yep. And to live the rest of your life, however long that is, knowing that was meant for you. It was going to get you both. Because they both arrived in that car.
Yeah.
They were both supposed to leave in that car.
Yeah.
So, that was definitely meant for you. But, yeah, that's crazy. And then, that right there, and all, as Putin has the right.
You think Putin was unhinged?
Putin has a right to defend himself. If he thinks this is a Ukraine job, he's gonna. I don't know what else he has left except a whole bunch of missiles. We all know they're armed to the teeth. I just don't know how.
Like I keep
how
saying,
well their military is. I think their military just not as good as people think it is.
I don't think he's opened the garage door yet. I think he's rotating his stock. I think he's using his old shit first.
Right, but then again, if he wants to win a war, like in the eye of the people, not strategically, then you don't just go in there and blazes and blow shit up.
No.
You just go in there and,
but when
you kind of stand outside their front door for about 6 months.
Destroy the enemy without hurting civilians, you win hearts and minds.
Yeah, and they're taking over strategic ports, and they're just, it's kind of like like I just said, the bully that's just standing right outside your front door. And every once in a while, he'll knock, just to kind of let you know he's there.
I think Putin works with a lot of scalpels.
He's
not real good with his sledgehammers.
Nah. I guess we'll wait. We'll see. What's going to happen. But
it's escalating globally because it's not about the people of the Ukraine. I'm going to say this openly and freely. Nobody gave up about the people of the Ukraine.
No. Last
year. They don't know nothing about the people of the Ukraine. They don't know about the Ottoman Empire and the history of the Ukraine. All they know is Russia's invading the Ukraine. They don't understand the global. Actually, they're trying to, and this is conspiracy theory at this point, but it looks a lot like they're trying to instill the first seeds of globalism into the Ukraine, a country that's been in broken rubbles for a long time. It's easy to build there. And we've already got our dirty secrets in the roots. So if we start the globalism there, it'll be in the underbelly. I think that's... Right. And that's why Russia doesn't want them in
Think about that. You look at Russia's border as a whole. Their eastern border, right? No, it'd be their western border. their western border is by far their most susceptible area. You know what? You can bring up a world map if you want, if you got one handy. But I think their southern border is Afghanistan and Pakistan. You know, on their southern border, but their northern border is nothing but snow and secret labs, according to Admiral Byrd. But they don't really have. That won't help. And then on their western border, or their eastern border, they got China, which is an ally for them. So Ukraine is by far probably their biggest threat. It's a democratic country that speaks Russian. What that alone probably makes his head hurt.
I really think there's a lot to be said too. He's every country on his border. Yeah, I had one handy. I just couldn't get it up.
Yeah, so the southern border is Kazakhstan. What is that? Yeah, Ukraine right there. Turkey's an ally. They're supposed to be an ally to us too. Then you got China, and this one actually has Mongolia.
Every one of these countries are in the UN.
Well, not Belarus, and not Belarus, not Ukraine, and not.
They're in talks with Belarus.
No, Belarus is that's how they launched that attack on Kyiv. Oh, Belarus is being sanctioned right now. They're not a member of it. They're an ally. Russia. Yeah, they're an ally of Moscow. They always have been. Yeah, but man, this attack on Putin's ally, man, this is like the first real. No matter who's behind it, this is the first real attack on Putin since he started this war in February. Yeah, February. This is the first real attack on him. This is the first. I mean, he's suffered a few losses. You know, Ukraine's using our weapons to inflict a little bit of pain. I think it blew up a couple ships. They've blown up a couple fighter planes. They've made a few strategic hits with our weapons, but this is the first time Putin's really been hit personally.
Right.
So you never know. I mean, he could launch an investigation, and in 72 hours, he could be like, yep, investigation over. Ukraine did it. Here comes the mother of all weapons. Boom, I'm blowing y'all off the map. And there ain't going to be shit we can do about it. He's just going to launch a world war.
Up to half of the NATO weapons shipped to the Ukraine are being sold in black markets.
That doesn't even surprise me a little bit. Anything the government puts its hands on, and the government's getting a cut of that.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. They did the same thing with
money. Yes, that's exactly what that is.
You know what I mean?
It's laundering money.
That's the oldest trick in the book. You're taking politic money and then you're gonna launder it. That's how. And the politicians are gonna enrich themselves.
Yeah, you know what? World War II made a lot of men rich.
Dude, I saved.
People make bombs. People sell tanks.
I saved a TikTok that I saw earlier that I watched 3 or 4 times, and I thought it was very interesting. And when we get off recording here, I'm going to let you listen to it. But it's kind of interesting, very interesting. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me even a little bit.
It's all money laundering.
It was the same thing when Obama did it. Fast and Furious. They knew the cartel was taking in weapons. They're not stupid.
And they're using them on the Tijuana border right now.
Yep. And all those weapons that we left behind in Afghanistan, I can bet you they're in Russia right now. Guarantee it. Our weapons are being used against.
No. I'm sorry. Taliban's hanging on to that stuff. We might have gave them some old stuff.
I don't know, man.
We gave them the weapons that beat their butts. They want those.
Yeah, but Taliban doesn't really have a lot of money right now. So I guarantee a lot of those weapons are getting sold. Yeah, I just feel like that's gonna really get things going. Because, you know, like I said, all he's got to do is come out and just say, yeah, investigation's over. Ukraine did it. Or U.S. did it. You know? Like, you don't ever hear of all the people that we have sanctioned. You never hear that story. Like, Russia sanctioned all kinds of people. Like, people that don't even matter.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, there's all kinds of people Russia sanctioned. But
yeah, everybody sanctions everybody all the time.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't really matter in the long run. You know, it's going to happen no matter what. Absolutely. We're not in control of it.
Absolutely. Everybody's always sanctioning each other. You can kind of just ignore it for the most part. And I mean, Russia's doubled its wealth since we sanctioned them. So I don't know what we exactly think is coming from.
Well, I'd like to see a story if you have something on that, because I don't know, man. Really. Because you know, all the billionaire oligarchs are since the beginning of 2018. Okay, like sanctions haven't started since 2020. Yeah, and in 2018, yeah, of course they were pumping all kinds of oil into Europe. Now, I mean, see, look, 83 billion out of the Russia's rich, and that's how the Russians fund their government, the billionaires.
Well,
yeah, because I mean,
it was older news that I was.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you're right for sure. But recently, like, all of their billionaire assets are frozen, or they've been sanctioned so heavily. I mean, Russia's they probably got plenty of stockpile. They got oil. They got ways to make money. But their biggest funder of government is by far the billionaires. And I believe it's some kind of working agreement, really, between the Russian government and the billionaires.
Buying the currencies of friendly countries. We have no idea what's going on in the world.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's all a game to them. I mean, it's no different.
That's what kills me, though. It's the back and forth. It's the, well, we have Putin's unhinged and he's crazy and he's getting weak and he can't do anything at 9 o'clock at night. And then at 7 o'clock in the morning when I get back up, it's 3 more cities in Russia or in Ukraine were taken by Russia last night. I haven't seen Russia destroy a tank. I haven't seen a video of Russia hitting a single tank or airplane. I've seen a lot of videos of Russian tanks and airplanes getting blown up.
Oh, it's all propaganda. They're only going to show you what they want you to see.
He keeps taking cities. It's like
well, as a rebuttal on that, he's not just taking cities. He has to really fight for them. I will give the Ukrainians that are over there fighting, yeah, I'll give them credit.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are fighting a lost cause. I mean,
But another thing, propaganda-wise, they're arming civilians and then counting them as civilian deaths.
Yeah,
They
are committing war
America
crimes.
Kept civilian deaths down by calling them insurgents.
Yeah, they are. I feel like they're definitely doing some war crimes over there to the Ukrainians.
It's a new directive. We will no longer consider it a. I'll find the link and insert it. Or just text it out. Where are we going next?
I don't know. What's next on your list?
Oh, we can go anywhere you want. Well, okay. We gotta quit calling it Mar-a-Lago because it's not really Mar-a-Lago anymore.
No, it's FBI raid.
Yeah.
It's simply that. It's simply that.
And it's not really that. Hey, you wanna talk about the weaponization of our most specialized forces in the United States government?
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it is.
That's definitely happening. That's definitely happening, and we're gonna have 87,000 armed people out there collecting taxes.
Yeah, and have you seen the videos of them training?
Yeah, no, I don't want to.
Yes, there are videos of them training, and oh no, it's funny. It's funny. I mean, like, we've played paintball together.
I did see one.
These kids would run on a paintball field. Like, they're gonna kill some people. But here's the thing.
I don't even know why I'm laughing at that shit.
Here's the thing that caught my attention about the video of them training. It was a news report. And
it was all the woke motherfuckers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do they allow purple hair in the IRS?
Oh, they absolutely do. But the thing is they're like, are they training you on tasers and less than lethal? And they're like, no, sir.
If you evade your taxes, we will kill you.
Well.
Or at least shoot at you. Dang. You must have just looked at that yesterday, because
but if you catch
that was the one I saw with the dude in the wheelchair.
Okay, if you catch one, that's a little bit comedic.
It's not a little bit. It is not. It's so funny.
Is he gonna shoot you in the leg? Is he gonna crawl out of the wheelchair and handcuff you? Like,
put these on.
Now. I played this game before. I don't think I want to. You want me to slap your legs?
Wow. Shoo. I mean, I guess, nope.
Yeah, they're giving a bunch.
Not gonna make that joke.
They're giving a bunch of kids. I mean, yeah. The thing that gets me is look at the recruits.
I can't take this seriously.
You better.
I'll tell you one thing is for certain. That one thing is for sure. That both of those people in the wheelchairs can't get through my front gate. So they better send someone else, because you guys have to yell at me from my front gate.
But if you listen to the interrogation at the end, you'll notice that they're like, why did they say that they were going to bring these people out? They said it was because of people making over $400,000 a year. But they do a mock interrogation, and in the mock interrogation, they're asking this guy about his lawn care services and how many jobs he did last year. They handcuff this man at gunpoint, and then question him about his landscaping business. That is concerning. Because they're not even training. They're training at that level.
Yeah, I don't
TikTok
anticipate
more informative than YouTube. Oh, because TikTok is Chinese and they don't care to talk trash about America.
Well, everything we put on TikTok is just extra data for them.
Right.
So I do gotta say I do like TikTok. It makes me laugh. That's about it. If that's what China's collecting on me, they think I'm a dumbass because I like the most stupidest shit on there.
Carry a firearm. Be willing to use deadly force if necessary.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit last week.
It
was on the website.
There was a guy on Facebook that said, it's not like they're coming this year. And I immediately seen the video of them training, and I was like, they're coming soon enough.
I fully expect that this is going nowhere.
Well, if Republicans take control, they're not going to fund it. Yeah. They've already said it.
Well,
if we take control, we will not fund this.
Some I've even heard some big numbers, dude, like 45 seats. So it's like almost, I can't say nothing's guaranteed.
No.
But I mean, it's looking crazy good in the House right now.
What about the Senate?
The Senate's always iffy. Always.
If we take the House, though, that'll be a big step.
If we take the House and the Senate, that's what we need, so we can completely shut down this agenda. Because then we have both sides of the houses, and we have the Supreme Court. So, Joe would literally be a lame duck for the last 2 years.
You would.
And then, unless he can get something common sense to go through, because
I feel like there is a definite bleak outlook on Republicans taking control, and by that I mean, and I want Republicans to take control, but I have a bad feeling that it's going to lead to some serious chaos.
I don't know. What do you mean?
I mean, there'll be riots. There's going to be. The Democrat Party is not going to...
Oh, you mean if the right takes back the House and Senate, there'll be... Of course there will be. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to get up the next morning and go to work that's what Republicans do. That's the reason why I don't really. Yes, I'm a registered Republican, but I don't really identify with a lot of what they do. You know what I mean? That for 2 years we talk, and if we take back the House and Senate, and on day one we don't launch 15 investigations, it's just another typical Republican Party. All we do is talk. The Democrats will burn this bitch down to prove their point. Like, I give them that they will. They will come to your house and they will torch you out. Like, I'm not saying in a violent way. I'm just saying we have to be action oriented if we're going to get any results.
Right. At least be willing to stand your ground.
Exactly. If you don't launch investigations the way they've been launching investigations, then, I don't know what to say, because there's too much that's happened that we know of already. We already know that the media suppressed the Hunter Biden tapes before the election. Had that been released, Joe Biden would have never been elected. Never been elected.
Obama was still in office when North Korea threatened us with nuclear weapons, right?
I mean, they're always threatening us, but no one takes them seriously, because half the time they can't even get a missile to launch without it blowing up.
Yeah, I know. But
recently they've had some success, but they're always threatening us. They threatened us, and Donald Trump was like, all right, what's up? You want to come shake my hand, bro?
He fixed the whole problem with the hot fudge sundae.
And a handshake.
And then he said, let's go talk to the guy in South Korea, see if he's still mad at you. And they walked. Walked down to South Korea and had a conversation. And then Joe Biden gets in office. And then March 8th, he wants to start South Korean Defense Ministry, a joint military exercise with the U.S.
Oh, no, that's 6 months ago, though. Like, they just recently announced another one.
Yeah.
South Korea, and the biggest drill ever.
Yeah.
Based off of North Korea's recent aggression or whatever.
I'm going to go back in. North Korea runs their mouth. He's like the mouthy rooster in the...
Speaking of which, let me take what you just said, and let me just take a little quick segue off of that. You said North Korea likes to run their mouth, and I agree. That's all they do is talk. Have you paid any attention to all these Americans, like, week after week after week, just flying to Taiwan for no apparent reason? You want to talk about talk? Are we egging on China without really egging on China?
Did we egg on Russia
3 weeks?
Really egging on Russia?
3 weeks straight. It was Pelosi first, I think, and then it was Chuck Schumer or some shit, and now it's the Indiana governor. The Indiana governor's got like 15 people over there right now.
That is the tactic that they use.
Since you want to bring up the idea of North Korea talking shit, like, I feel like we're just talking shit without talking shit.
That's what we do.
We're like, what you gonna do?
That's what we did in Russia. That's what we did in Ukraine. That's what we did that's what we do. That's what we're going to do in South Korea. That's what we're doing in Taiwan.
Yeah. So you can go back to your North Korea thing if you want, but I thought that was funny.
That was just that.
That was interesting. Like, we just keep sending people over there.
They threatened that he had launched a nuclear missile during the Obama administration toward Hawaii, and then
But I don't even think he might have threatened. But I'm pretty sure he doesn't have the technology to get here.
They sent the emergency alert over everybody's cell phone. They said it was a mistake. You don't remember this?
No, not really. But, like, I don't think they have even the technology to reach Hawaii. I don't think they're that quite there yet.
If you have hypersonic missiles, which they did not at that point.
So and I don't think they do now. The superpowers are just now getting hypersonic. You know, like, there's no way North Korea has hypersonic missiles. I feel like North Korea is just like the little country that just didn't comply.
I'm going to go to Wikipedia. You know what? No,
here, 2018 right here. Hawaii false missile alert. Oh, yeah, I do remember this, hearing about this, but it was never...
We assume, at least Verizon or somebody assumes he has the technology. to send a missile to Hawaii. They said it was an accident. Was it a spies like us moment? Did we launch a nuclear missile?
Doctor.
Some spies got killed and they dropped it in the ocean before it hit Hawaii. Doctor.
Doctor. Great movie.
Great movie. I watched Hear No Evil, See No Evil.
Yeah, that's awesome too. That's awesome. My favorite is the rodeo scene. That just I could sit there and watch it over and over and over. And Blazing Saddles was on Hulu like the week before. It might still be on there.
It still is, but I own it.
But dude, that one is also a very controversial but great comedy. Oh my god! Nowadays, it's super controversial, but man, that's so funny.
Sing me a song. Yes.
So,
I love Gene Wilder.
Yeah, that's great. Like he's classic, or was classic.
Richard Pryor. My favorite part of Hear No Evil, See No Evil is their very first meeting in front of the subway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
That's my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
So let's get off the politics.
Yeah. Yeah, something I kind of started digging into a little hole the other day that just kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah.
And I started watching stuff about the mafia and that was interesting.
I love the mafia.
That was awesome. Like how they broke it down and how each family was, in charge of certain areas and certain blocks, and how they all answered to the commission, and that shit was cool, man.
Have you ever listened
cool.
to Sammy the Bull's podcast? It's called Our Thing.
No, not really.
I love it.
Not really. There are podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis, and it's hard to, because the ones I do listen to take up the amount of time that I really want them to. So it's kind of hard to find a new one because I just don't have time.
I turned that podcast on one day. I believe I was on my way to War, West Virginia, and I just let it play. And I mean, it was episode after episode that I got glued in. It's just him telling his story of coming up in the mob. Now, everybody he's talking about is either imprisoned for life, dead, or has been exonerated for these crimes. So he can freely talk about everything.
Yeah.
He talks about hits, how they did the hits, planning the hits, where they were going to meet after the hit. I mean, he gives the whole honest version of the story. Michael Franzese hates this man.
Right.
And he's got his own podcast. Valuetainment got them to sit down together on a podcast and talk. And I mean, they just screamed at each other for like 20 minutes. Like,
both of them are old. Neither one of them want to kill each other, but they both want each other dead.
Yeah, neither of them can imagine a world that benefits best with the other in the world.
You're taking up my air, bitch.
But his podcast, which Valuetainment again, what's his name? I listen to too many podcasts.
Yeah.
But I'll just start that over. The Valuetainment podcast also interviewed Sammy the Bull Gravano, and it's one of the best interviews. That's what sucked me into listening to his podcast.
Right. Yeah, I got a few of them that I listen to on a regular basis.
But I love mafia stuff. I'm huge into the mob.
My favorite one right now is Lex Friedman. That's my dude. If you're a sciencey, kind of mathy kind of person, this guy is a freaking genius. Like, literal genius.
Did you
moved from Russia when he was a kid, I think. Graduated top of his class at MIT. Like, this dude's on it. And he interviews deep thought theoretics. I mean, physics, just like science-y stuff.
What's his name again?
Lex Friedman. He's podcast
I've
everywhere.
heard that name.
Joe Rogan's interviewed him several times. Joe Rogan's been on his podcast. There's another guy that he interviews a lot. It's Michael something, and he's a genius too, man. This guy's super smart. They're both immigrants from Russia. But I'll see if I can find it. Can't think of his name right off. I'll find it though. But Lex Friedman is, man, he's just really, and he has this voice where if you listen to it on the big picture, it's so monotone. Like his speaking voice is so dry. But the subjects that he's discussing, and he's speaking in a way, he has to speak like that to talk about subjects as deep as these. And it just, I don't know, he has a weird way of coming off as it makes sense. And some of that shit, I'm like, fucking lost, bro. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I listen to things all the time that are way beyond my intellectual
They get
level.
into the math required for warp speed and just cool shit like that I can't understand, but I'm listening to it because cool.
God, I wish I knew what you were saying.
Yeah, me too.
It's like talking to a pretty Asian girl in the bar.
But yeah, so what were you talking about? No politics. What was you getting ready to talk? Some cartels or no? We talked about that last week, didn't we?
The cartel issue is still ongoing.
We talked about that last week, though. I think.
I have been in all kinds of stuff this week. Just I've had one of them weeks where I would see a headline and immediately just start Googling it.
Yeah, see, that's why I go through things on, maybe Facebook or even TikTok or YouTube, and I see something that piques my interest, and I save it for later, and later never comes.
The FBI agents that raided Mar-a-Lago are all mentioned in the Durham report.
Yeah.
It's the same agents.
It's the same agents that did I hear it's the same agents that
it's the Crossfire Hurricane team.
Yeah, the same agents that accepted the Peter Strzok dossier, the fake dossier.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the same agents that entered that into evidence and everything. Yeah. And now they're trying to save face with the...
And they didn't get a warrant from a judge. They went to a master, which hasn't been done since before the Constitution was signed.
No, that judge signed it.
They went to a magistrate, a master. They didn't go to
the federal judge.
That should have took a higher judge.
That guy was a federal judge. The guy that signed that warrant was a federal judge. That was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, dude. That was, what's his face? That was a federal judge. What was that guy's name? Why is everything slipping my mind now? No, that's a federal judge in Florida.
Well, that's another strike against him. He was Epstein's lawyer, and he took himself off of Hillary Clinton's case.
But yeah, it was either a federal judge or it was a federal magistrate. He was a federal level judge for sure.
It's just weird because usually when it usually says judge, not master.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, there's no way. And since we're gonna get off politics.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely are. But there's no way you can raid the home of a former president less than 90 days from a midterm and not say it's political. You can't. Those two go hand in hand this close to a midterm, dude. And everybody knows he's gonna announce. But the Republican National Convention requires him to wait. If not, they won't pay his legal bills. I already said that.
Right.
So Republican National Convention will cover him legally if he waits. So now they've launched an investigation against a former sitting president right before the midterms. And
that's not political at all.
No. It can't be.
No.
Of course not.
No. Those whistleblowers.
It's as simple as this. He broke the law, and the law acted on that. Right? Has to be.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a little quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to absolutely, positively know politics.
Yeah.
Let me, how you feel about that?
I'm down with that. I like politics, but I don't want it to be our whole show.
Nah, there's a lot this week, though.
There's a lot all the time.
All right, well, we'll be right back. And we are back on.
Heck yeah. Medicated and hydrated. Let's roll.
No, less serious. No politics.
Yeah.
No, not in there.
Not in there. Well, I mean, I guess it could be kind of politics. You know, if you consider the hostile takeover of things political. I mean, there was not really politics. It was like, I'm taking this, and you don't have to like it or not, but I'm taking it.
Teenager wrecks a skateboard nowadays. It says damn politics. But anyway.
Right-wing extremists made me crash my skateboard.
The people who are right-wing extremists nowadays were the ones who invented skateboarding back in the day. All right, so we said last week we were going to talk about Tartarian.
Let's do it then.
What'd you learn?
Well, you know, like I said, it's been a pretty busy week for me, so I didn't get into a whole bunch of it, but, you know, at one point, it was, if you take the three main tribes that existed at that time, I mean, they make up what is Asia. I mean, that was definitely the largest empire in this history. But if I'm not mistaken, it was the black Tartarians and the white Tartarians, and there was another one, yellow maybe. There was three main tribes that made them up. Matter of fact, Genghis Khan was like one of the black Tartarians. So I mean, they were definitely different tribes, but I believe they all got along and it coexisted as one.
This was...
But...
You know what took me down this rabbit hole? A picture in my living room. Gold World map.
Right.
Says Grand Tartary over what should be Asia and India. So that made me start looking into things. And what comes up is interesting. And it takes you everywhere from erased history into giants. Such a great thing because this is a big subject.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, it can't be a small subject if it was the world's largest empire. You know, it was like, what was it, like 30% of the known world at that point was under control of the Tartarian Empire.
Right.
It was huge. Like the Roman Empire is like a flick on like a flick on the radar compared to the Tartarian Empire.
So, you know, America's not the only people that declassify things. It's not just Donald Trump and Barack Obama that like to declassify things. Russia likes to declassify things every now and then too. So there was actually an order.
Looks like it was. See some things on here about it being wiped away by a flood or a mud
flood.
Or
that is shit. another piece of the conversation.
So Tartary was a blanket term for Northern Asia and modern day Russia. Oh, okay, so it wasn't. You know,
see the map behind Putin. I'm actually looking for something I straight up read earlier.
I was in WikiLeaks last night, just looking around.
WikiLeaks is deep.
Yeah, it's deeper than that's a hole I don't really want to go down because they were releasing like 30,000 emails, and some of them are like, "Hey, what's up? See you for dinner," or "Hey, don't forget to wear the blue tie today," or you're like, "Dang, you get to be able to filter through all of that crap to find anything good."
I mean, well, you want to. The part about WikiLeaks that really burns me, and I mean, really burns me, is they came out 2 months ago and said that they arrested the CIA agent that was guilty for all the leaks that WikiLeaks had developed. So, did they accidentally verify WikiLeaks when they said that? When you come to me and say you arrested the man who was responsible for leaking WikiLeaks from the CIA, that tells me that there was...
Well, there's whistleblowers everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, ever since this FBI raid, that I think they've had 17 whistleblowers come forward. So, but yeah, that's what I was reading, is that Tartary was before the map was really known. I'm not saying before China was China.
Right, it was thousands of years old.
Before you were able to explore China and actually knew what it was called, it was a blanket term given.
Right.
But what you looking for? You got a map or something? Is that what you're looking at?
Well, it's on all the old maps. Like I said, what got me into this was the map in my living room. There's an actual Russian record. Yeah, see, it's on... Which, it's funny how the names of countries changed over the years anyway.
Yeah.
Like little changes. Like Asia used to be ASEA.
Yeah, but like, you know, Iran, Iraq, none of that even existed until after World War II, right? Or after World War One, or what was it? Something like that. Like after the World War, maybe I think it was World War II. That's when we divided all that land up. The world powers divided all that land up. I think it was. It was something like that. That's unreal, man.
All this old art. See, it involved, the Indian culture and.
I mean, the pictures that they're depicting these people, they do kind of give off a little Asian type vibe.
Asian, Mongol,
Indian type.
But it goes into the Slavics too.
Maybe Native Americans of Asia type. These are this looks very.
If it reminds you of Native Americans, it gets interesting.
But I guess everybody's native back then. I mean, it's not like you can go to damn Walmart.
See all the lightning rods?
Yeah. Or maybe...
That's the city of Kasan. But this has been wiped from history. Russia wiped it from its history.
Yeah.
So did we. All we talk about is the Roman Empire. But nobody talks about, Mongols and Mongolia. But Mongolia was just...
But you remember...
An area of the Tartarian Empire.
Yeah, so you remember back... I mean, I guess it happens pretty much anywhere, but back when Iraq War and stuff like that, when you hear the Taliban and stuff were destroying relics and stuff like that,
right?
That was, according to something I just read, that was like their attempt to smash architecture of that Tartarian period. To basically destroy that and erase that. So all of the conflicts that's happened in the Middle East and stuff like that are just an attempt to erase this empire.
Right.
So, yeah, that's definitely a subject. It's too deep, you know what I mean? Just to...
I actually pulled up earlier the order from Russia. I'm mad that I can't find it now. Where Russia actually erased the Tartarian Empire from its history after a war. But nobody talks about it.
Of course not. That's how you erase them.
Yeah. But how old? But I digress. How old is the Tartarian Empire?
It's gotta be old.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's an ancient empire.
They were in the Bible. They were in the Bible. Back then, they were the Tatars, is how it's spelled in religious texts. The Tatars. They took the R out. I doubt that was a different, a Turkish-speaking group that lived in Russia. But these...
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
These were some barbaric people. Nobody wanted... I was watching a documentary on Genghis Khan. And they said that they would spend days. They would fan out around a city or a village. And when they'd spend days, up to days, hours, days, creeping in the grass, and through the woods up onto the village, and they would kill anybody that was traveling out of the circle. Just trip them, kill them. Silent kill. And they would work their way in and peacefully all of a sudden just jump up screaming. And when they jumped up screaming, everybody would take off running, but they already had them.
Had a perimeter.
Yeah.
So Genghis Khan was using, Sun Tzu's war tactics.
Sun Tzu. Oh yeah, everybody did. Even commanders today read The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
They were in contact with the Chinese. Well, yeah,
of course.
But the Tartars were they're even, if you look up Tartars in the Bible, it doesn't really come up, even though they come up in the Torah, the Jewish Bible, which I guess we always misconceive as just being our Old Testament, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Because they don't seem to come up in the Bible, but they come up in the Torah.
Well, then, people from that were in that area probably traveled further that way. I mean, all the Middle East was all the empire, all the Tartarian Empire. So it makes sense that they would come in contact with these type of people. So today's the first day of school here in Kanawha County, huh?
Yes, it is. Abigail go to Kanawha County?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Just first day of high school for her. Yep.
That sounds too close for me.
I don't know, man. I wasn't like the most popular or anything. None of that. I was never in it, but I had fun in high school. I mean, we went to football games and
right.
We just did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I was always into something.
I had fun.
You were talking about the mud flood.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. When you go into these subjects, people always somehow, and I don't understand how, people somehow always connect them to the flat earth theory, and I don't understand the connection. I have a lost history theory, but that would take politics.
Yeah.
History's always written by the victor.
Oh, absolutely.
But you brought up the mud flood.
But if you dig hard enough, you can find the loser's story.
Oh yeah. I
have learned that.
Yeah. You brought up the mud flood, and I know this is a crazy subject. It's a quick subject. It's a did or didn't happen. But there is a theory that at some point there were torrential rains or something. Something happened, and dirt just turned to mud and flowed everywhere. And there's even theory that when we got here, like when Columbus and them got here, like as they got into further cities, that some of the buildings and structures they claimed they built already existed and were reconditioned. These are conspiracy theories, but
yeah, there's too many of those to.
When they dig out around these old buildings, I
was gonna say, is there evidence that there was a mud flood? Then there was. There's no real conspiracy around that. And if they uncover a freaking village, which that's what it looks like.
I've always asked myself how these buildings got so deep underground. Like, you can't tell me layers of sediment covered something up that far for that city, but when you go other places have been there for hundreds of years, and there's no sediment building up around them.
No, it's not. Have you ever seen a show called Ancient Underworlds? Maybe. Anyway, I'll have to look up the name of that. This dude travels the world, and he goes underground and looks for history things. New York City itself, like back in 1800s is not the same city you see today.
Right.
If you want to get to the New York City of the 1800s, you have to go down below the sewer, below the subway, below, like, it goes 40, 50, 60 feet down. Like, where parts of the old city were permanently buried to build parts of the new city. This shit was, man, you need to watch that. Like, you saying it's not just sediment.
Right.
You know, it could actually be progress. People building on top of things.
Right. Well, that's the theory. That's the push.
But this is the village that was covered in mud, right?
Well, it's
this
a lot of, yeah.
The Tartarian village.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different, doors and windows and...
Could be a marketplace or something down there at one
point. The fact that it looks like there's a pipe going into this one makes it look like maybe there was some planned construction.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right here. But that's the
but maybe that that's why they're
like the demolishment of the Tartarian Empire came around the time of World War II when a lot of the bombing happened.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't have any way to confirm or deny that, but they're being erased because of their barbarism, probably because they were such a gruesome people that like murdered and tortured people, or like why are they trying to be eliminated? Why is the history trying to be erased? That's something I want to look into a little bit more just to see if there's an answer out there for that. Because probably because the skin color. Could it be skin color? I mean, Russians are white. Mainstream history, dates of discovery.
Russia's not racist, though. They don't care.
Are you sure?
As long as you're Russian. They just want you to be a Russian. What's that movie where that one guy's a black Russian?
Are you sure,
the
though?
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I mean, you can't be gay. You can't do anything. You can't really... You don't have a lot of freedom in Russia. So are you sure they're not racist? Or nationalist? Is that the right word? If you're not Russian, it's you're either with us or against us.
I mean,
Right, they're one of the biggest and most powerful countries in history. Until 1775, Tartaria is mostly unknown nowadays because its history makes the official history of our planet, which is full of lies, impossible. The vast and powerful country is depicted on countless official maps and referenced in many texts from back then. It makes the official history of our planet full of lies. The history they're telling us about our planet is impossible because of the existence of these people. See, this is like, we're going to keep digging. This is going to be something. This is like, oh, come on, man.
Well, like I said, there were giants, and there's a lot of. I'm actually looking for. This is.
You done did it now.
I done screwed up.
Hey, that's why this is only the 4th episode. I'm sure we'll make plenty more mistakes before we actually get it right. Hopefully anyone that's listening is cool with us fucking up from here to time. Right.
Right. Because I will fuck up from time to time. This is conspiracy theory, right? With the mud flood thing. I don't
right, complete cities being buried. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
It would explain 47 sub-basements that nobody noticed you dug, though.
Right.
I'm just pointing that out. You ever see some of these government installations? They got 37 floors underneath and nobody noticed they were digging.
And digging and digging.
And digging and digging. This was the world before World War II. Berlin, 1920. Dresden in the 30s. You see these beautiful buildings.
Heck yeah. This is before we bombed everything.
Yeah. And you notice everything has some kind of a metal roof. Everything's got dome metal roofs with some kind of protruding metal.
Like a lightning rod type
Like a lightning
deal.
rod kind
That one over
deal.
there has a statue on it.
Yeah.
That's just how they built things back in the day, though.
These are how the primitive people built things.
Yeah, I don't think they're very primitive. Those look like some pretty cool buildings to me.
It's not just buildings.
Just the infrastructure, period.
See the whole city.
Yeah.
Like, it's whole cities are built like this.
But they didn't have cars, so they didn't have to build all this infrastructure for cars.
And then there's the 1900 World Fair, which is a conversation of itself, because they're like, oh, we built all of this.
Yeah, I heard this.
Just to tear it back down in 7 days.
No, it was already there, and you tore it down to erase the Tartarian architecture.
Which of those two makes sense?
Right.
Because it looked like it would have took decades to build, unless it was made of styrofoam, which they didn't have styrofoam yet.
Not in 1900. But
what do you notice about the amount of electricity?
Yeah, in the early 1900s, 1929.
That leads into the theory that they were using Tesla energy back then, but that's part of the things they removed. I mean, the theory brings questions. Like I said, once I start showing you pictures of the world before 1900, when all you've ever watched is westerns.
But you don't have to. You don't have to be a world traveler or a genius even, or you just have to be a person who pays attention to see that as a people, even we call ourselves civilized, we're barbarians, dude.
Oh yeah,
like we completely demolish things we don't like, and
mankind is
and then rewrite history and. Oh yeah,
society of tribal warfare. We are a society.
I don't even know how mankind hasn't really extincted itself. Is that a word? Extincted? Because I don't know how we've made it this far.
We will.
Really, we should have killed ourselves off by then. Unless we just make more babies than we kill off.
Now
I guess that has to be it.
Conversations about how we really feel about Agenda 2030.
Well,
because. Do 3/4 of Earth kind of need to go away for the survivability of the species?
Hell no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's 2022, man, and if you give me $1 million, I can go find a big enough piece of land where I'll never have to look at another human being ever again.
Right.
And if I can do that, we still have plenty of room. Right. So I'm not trying.
Right.
I'm not trying to hear this overpopulation shit. Now, with that being said, yes, some countries, cities are overpopulated, and because of that, they provide the biggest part of the pollution. Dude, if America completely went 100% solar and green, the world would still be polluted because of China and India. Yes, we contribute. Don't get it messed up. We definitely contribute. But you can't do anything by yourself.
I feel like going in the direction when it comes to green energy. You know what? I'm not a believer in global warming. We can save that argument. I feel like the Earth goes through cycles. Having said that, it doesn't hurt to go in green, self-sustainable directions. Doesn't hurt.
For myself.
Hybrids
for my personal use.
Are a great idea.
Yes, 100% agree. For my personal use, I 100% agree. But at the end of the day, if you want to mine, if you want to fly airplanes, if you want to any of these things that we consider advanced technologies and stuff like that, you still need fossil fuels. You'll still need the power that coal provides. You still need that.
You absolutely do.
You can go as green as you freaking want. We still need that stuff.
But you can only go green where it makes sense.
You can only get so much power from solar. You just can't get enough power. You can't launch yourself into space with a solar rocket, dude. You have to have a fuel. Or you have to create a new fuel.
Well, if the private... If the average private citizen went green and self-sustainable, there would be more room for industry. Attacking industry is definitely not the answer.
So, You're absolutely right. Looks like we have ventured off onto a whole nother conversation.
You're right. Let's go back.
But we still can. Because what do you think is going to happen to the power companies if the average everyday citizen went solar? You think they're going to allow that? You think AEP is going to allow you to put them out of business? Somehow, some way, they have to stay relevant. And that's the reason why we can't.
If you get solar and produce too much for your home, AEP charges you for having it go onto their power grid.
No, you can still get a check. You can still receive payment for pumping power into the power grid.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they had a different law.
But what the average citizen does is, over the course of a couple years, if they're receiving $70 a month from the power company, then instead of getting that check, they'll just add another battery to their solar power, and then they'll store that energy, and you'll get a zero check, but you're still connected to the grid.
Oh, wow.
But still, you're not. There's no way. There's no way. Unless we can come up with a way to get more power, we're not,
Tesla's big on the self-sustainable houses. I feel like he's going to make the big step.
Is that the ones that
He just invented a new battery. We're not going into that right now. We're talking about Tesla another way.
Is that the one where he 3D printed the house and then went in with all these electronics and basically made it a self-aware house, sort of?
They call it a box. And it's like it comes flat and they unfold it. He lives in it inside the factory. He sold his multi-million-dollar home and bought this.
He sold them all.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is a minimalist, is what he says.
Yeah.
He has like 2 pair of pants and 2 shirts, and he sold everything.
Yeah.
He's like, he didn't want any of this stuff. I was like, that's
makes him dangerous. To be that smart and not care about accumulation of goods.
If we can fast forward like 10 years or so, I firmly believe that Elon Musk's like nephew or something is going to be the new Batman. Elon Musk is going to be Alfred, the old wise dude, and some reckless nephew of his is going to be the billionaire who becomes Batman. It might be 15 years from now, but remember this. We're recording this, so remember this. Like, I'm upset. There's 700 billionaires in this world, and no one's became Batman yet. This is kind of fucked up. Y'all have the money. Get the toys. Do it.
There's also back into Tartaria.
Yeah, we definitely ventured off on that one for a minute.
There's also claim that there was a genocide kind of thing over the rarity of the giants in that area. Which giants is another conversation piece that we can go into all day. But there were some abnormally tall people.
Heck yeah.
In that region of the world back then. And, there was Andre the Giant. And there's still incredibly tall people.
Oh yeah, we still have.
And when I say giants, those aren't really giants. Those are just maybe that was just the generation gap too.
Never know, but they're definitely not just tall.
No.
Like 7 foot is tall.
Right.
Those people look like they're 9 and 10 foot. 12. That's
12.
Oh, sorry, man.
And I mean, what does the Bible say? The Bible talks about giants.
I haven't read the Bible since I was a kid, man. When I was young, my whole family.
When David goes to fight. Goliath was a giant. When the Philistines come, they always had giants. Like they had more than one. They also had beasts, which I would always assume would be woolly mammoths. Woolly mammoths were probably still few in existence, but if not just elephants and lions.
Right. maybe dragons.
Maybe. But yeah, there were definitely,
Yeah, it's definitely some tall people there for sure.
I believe the only way the T-Rex makes sense is if it had wings.
I mean, the T-Rex is just...
The only way that's an alpha predator
is if
it has wings.
It
it's
can't
off
be.
balance.
There's no way that's a meat eater.
The pterodactyl had
doesn't
wings,
make
had
sense.
hands on its wings.
Yeah, look how tiny those arms are. They should be connected to wings. But you can't have a creature that flies like that. The only thing a T-Rex is missing is breathing fire, and that's a dragon. You know what I mean? So,
well,
did he evolve from the dragon to the T-Rex?
I don't know. What if the T-Rex is supposed to have the Stegosaurus things on its back and wings? Then what you got?
That's scary.
That's dragon.
Yeah. Maybe. And they did say that most dinosaurs are like birds, our closest descendants from
it's
dinosaurs.
weird.
Yeah. So you're talking a possibility. You're talking a possibility.
The new thing on Netflix talks about them with all right, we got to get back on the subject.
That's the beauty of it. We don't have to.
Right. But yeah, this is the largest empire in history. And it was one of the most violent empires in history. And it was removed from history.
It definitely was. You have to really dig into it to find anything that's really other than a lot of the pictures depict them as a native type people.
Now,
but how do you run an empire that big as a bunch of, there had to be some organization to it.
Connecting to this same theory is the theory that when they erased the Tartarian Empire, they erased a lot of people and a lot of technologies and a lot of... And
right.
This is a video of...
These are the new IRS agents?
No, but I have that. These are the technology
they're wheeling
that
in
they
there.
claimed existed in Tartaria just before all this was... Before it was demolished from history. Okay? Which wasn't as far back as you think. We're talking the late 1800s.
Well, it can't be that
1900s.
far back if you got a video of something. You know what I mean? Video technology's not a dinosphere.
And the thing is, like, you'll see, look, it's not just one guy. There's people with them. They're playing with them at the beach.
Well, shit, I want one of them.
Right? Right? Hold on to your hat.
Why don't we have one of them yet?
Why don't these exist?
That looks super cool, man.
Where are those?
Is that like the little Sonic the Hedgehog? You know the villain in Sonic the Hedgehog?
Look at this.
Heck yeah.
These existed. Like, there's people riding them,
The Zeppelin.
See, this is what gets my attention. You see the one back there and the one up here?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. It's not like it was just that one Nazi one. Like, there's a bunch of them. They were air transport.
Yeah.
They docked on top of the Empire State Building at one point. They would dock there and unload.
That's insane.
It is absolutely insane. These things were in mass production. They were all over the place. It's not, like I said, it's not like there was just the one Nazi one.
Right.
The one that blew up pretty bad.
Yeah, was it the Hindenburg?
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
The land yacht.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. I'd ride one of them down the boulevard.
I would too.
That's a silly invention, but it's a fun one.
It looks cool. So, off subject, since you said it looks cool, guess what I found in my ventures on the interwebs yesterday?
What?
If I say the word The Blob, do you know what I'm talking about?
The movie?
No. The big balloon in the lake. One person gets on one side, you jump and shoot the person.
Yeah.
There's an indoor version where you land in a ball pit.
Where?
I don't know, but this is epic. Epic. It's like an adult ball pit.
We should just go to Ace Adventures and...
I don't want to get in the water. What if I want to do it in Have you ever wanted to be launched into a ball pit?
What would 25?
Fuck yes, you have.
What would 25-year-old us have done?
Knowing what I know now, I'd go find funding to fucking get it built here.
Look at this.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's like the beginning jetpack kind of thing. Personal flying saucer.
Yeah. It's a kind of, those always remind me of He-Man. Remember the things they used to fly around on He-Man?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Look at this. Submarines. Which submarines were around in the Civil War. It's not that special, but...
Yeah, but they were kind of just sunken pieces of metal.
It's a one-man submarine.
What do you mean I'm not connected? I'm connected.
Here comes the flying saucer from Canada. Oh no, the hover scooter. Look at that. How cool is that? I want one of those. This is stuff they were having back. Look at this. John.
Oh yeah, I've seen these videos before. Yeah, absolutely. So they had this technology back in the, what was that, probably 50s? Yeah. 40s, 50s?
No, that was...
have you seen the new
20s.
One?
Early 20s.
20s.
Oh, yeah. It looks less efficient than that.
Oh, the new ones they got out now? Oh, my God.
He's on his arms, and he can go hit the shit.
It's 100% Iron Man.
Yeah,
It's got Iron Man vibes all over it.
Oh, yeah. But what does he do when he gets there? Like, he's got to let go. Besides hover around the ship and say, hey, I'm here. Like, he's got to hang on to those jetpacks. He can't let go of those jetpacks until he's on the ground.
You don't... Well, why would you need to?
Incoming fire?
Exactly, bro. You don't think that they've got some kind of weapon system on those things where you just look at a target and something shoots it?
Not yet.
Like, come on.
Not yet.
Dude, if we saw the video, they're far beyond that. You know, when they release shit, they're 10 years ahead of that.
I know they've already got the Predator shoulder thing invented.
For sure. The little three-way... Oh, by the way, the movie Prey was fire. And she, as a Native American, like, she was badass. 100%. But not quite Arnold badass. The Predator just couldn't see her.
She whipped the Predator's ass. But Arnold had to drop a log.
She had no camouflage.
Hiding, covered in mud.
He just couldn't see her specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold had to be covered in mud and outsmart the Predator. She just had some kind of benefit where he couldn't see her.
Those flowers that she ate.
Oh, is that what it was?
Remember she gave the flowers.
Oh,
she ate those flowers and they
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I still think Arnold was a little bit better. That was an awesome movie, though. But
fucking quicksand.
Actually, the Predator in this one kind of looked like a rookie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe it was filmed 300 years in advance of the real Predator, the first Predator. Is that what it was? Yeah, 300 years prior to the first Predator?
Right.
Is that what it was? So maybe he was a rookie.
They were advancing. They advanced with us. They got all these different theories, but I feel like it looks like they advanced
They're
with
the
us.
Ones that live up there in the North Pole that Admiral Byrd found.
And you wonder... You found out where the handgun that they get, the pistol he gave Danny Glover came from in Predator 2. Which Danny Glover didn't really fight the Predator in Predator 2. He just kind of chased him home. Which I guess takes just look. We didn't fight you, but that took balls. So we were talking about giants.
You know, it's not something that I'm very much educated on. I don't discount their existence, but it's not. You know, to me, when you say the word giants, I instantly am drawn to the story of Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? She come from an Amazonian island, blah, 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 with giant women who ruled the world. And men were servants. And, you know, that's kind of the existence, that kind of the vibe I get when you say giants. But I'll be the first to admit that I'm not educated on that at all.
I want to let you hear a far-fetched account, and we'll go from there. Watch this.
We would come back to the base, and we started hearing this rumor about a unit that killed... they started calling this really tall person. At first I didn't think anything of it, And come to find out that the person that they killed actually was 3 times the size of a man, had extra digits on their hand and digits on their feet, and had red hair. And a special unit had come in and wanted this target.
You were in Afghanistan in 2002, and you were called into a very remote section of Afghanistan because a patrol had basically gone missing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Villages around for miles. Right.
Very remote.
Yeah, very remote. So we flew in to about 4 kilometers. We're hiking through the same area where they were supposed to make one of their checkpoints, one of their rally points. And before we left, there was all kinds of what happened with the ambush. That was even odd because at the point of the ambush, you would call from a close air support something. Okay, there was no calls made, just off the grid. So we're coming down a mountainside, and it was a nice path, a good path. As we bent around this corner, you could see this opening of the cave. There's a cave. We're coming around, and then I see there's a lot of rocks, which is another oddity, and then bone matter. When I'm not close enough to identify what kind of bones, but I did see something I knew was a piece of our communications equipment. So instantly, we're thinking ambush, maybe animal, it could be anything. And there was enough room in front of this cave, but it had a sheer drop-off. But there was enough room that we actually got into a decent dispersal in case of ambush.
You see something coming out of the cave, and it's moving with a speed and agility that catches you off guard. Everybody.
And he comes out. There was a man at least 12 to 15 feet high. This is a monster, red beard, then his hair was long past the shoulder, a scarlet red, and Dan runs at him and starts shooting, broke all of us into the reality. Because it was so real.
Now your training is kicking in.
Oh yeah, okay. Muscle memory, complete muscle memory. While Dan is moving at him, another bro of mine's laying down fire, and I start firing. He skewers Dan. He's now got him on this pipe. Through it to him. He's still got him. And he's coming after more. We all just clicked in. I don't know what it was, but I remember we're all like, shoot him in the face, shoot him in the face. Our weapons components were in force. We had 308s, and we had Sheriff 50s. This is sounding longer than it took. We're talking 30 seconds. And he's taking multiple hits, and is still moving.
He talked about this giant being 1,100 pounds, anywhere from 10 to 15 feet long, and it was killed. It was apparently shot somewhere in a cave in Afghanistan, but before it was shot, it lunged at several of our troops, our soldiers. It may have even gorged somebody. It was just a bizarre.
What are you thinking?
That's insane.
Now, there's other accounts of this. There's another guy that tells the story who says that he repaired radio equipment on the base in Kandahar. And he got a bunch of broken equipment in and was told the story by the guy who brought it in. And he said it was top secret, never to repeat it, but he was taking a chance and he was telling his story. So that's a opposite account of what happened. Now the catch to the whole thing is there are several artistic depictions of the event. And then, if you
yeah, but this is Afghanistan, right? If this is Afghanistan, there's body cam footage they're suppressing somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
All of our soldiers had body cams. That dude is not 15. That motherfucker is a monster.
We have no understanding of this planet.
No, absolutely not. We're only told what they really want us to know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even the Smithsonian admits to the destructions of thousands of giant human skeletons in the early 1900s. We kill all the giants. We erase Tartaria from the history books. because they're too dangerous and powerful, then what do you do? Then what do you do? Whichever giants in West Virginia, we'll have another talk about that. But what comes after that step?
I mean, you know, I don't really know what answer you're looking for, to be honest with you. But
well, now you got to disperse the people. This is why this subject is so interesting to me, because once you get into that theory and you're like, okay, so it sounds like they killed off a bunch of giants, but surely there would be somebody to talk about it. But not if you have a bunch of wars, genocide a bunch of people, and then move the kids around. Again, so I've went into an area, and I've gotten rid of a larger species of human that I could consider a threat. What do I do next? Well, first I deport people in the area that might have memory of it. And again, we also had World War II going on in the 1930s kicking off, and World War I in the late 1920s and 30s. And then you move a bunch of kids around, orphan trains, which they claim were all American children being moved around, but if you look at their clothing, you'll notice they're wearing the same style of clothing.
Right. Yeah, they don't.
The area of Eastern Russia, and in that era of the world, there were just a lot of human beings being moved around everywhere.
Well, yeah. The two world wars combined claimed millions of lives. So that alone says there's orphans that you
buildings.
How many of those orphans got lost?
Artwork,
in translation there. You know what I mean?
History.
Yeah. Like there's all kinds of.
To consider that they did actually remove an entire culture of people from our planet is a feasible thought.
Yeah. I mean, same way you could say that, you know, once humans started walking upright, did we not try to take out the Neanderthals that weren't quite doing that yet? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like a human species as a whole is a very war-oriented type species.
There's stories that the Romans had to fight man-like beasts with heads like iron, which would sound like you're fighting a big four-headed Neanderthal. They said their swords wouldn't pierce their foreheads. That would be a conversation for another day. I'll dig up some on that. But yeah, I've read that in several history books over the years. That was at the beginning of the Roman Empire when it was first being formed, when they were at war with everyone.
Right. Yeah.
You know, how come nobody's ever tried to take power with peace and love? How come everybody gets a little bit of power under their belt and they're like, kill everyone?
Because no matter what,
we're tribal warfare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can't erase how you become when you become that way over hundreds, thousands of years.
Mankind only understands
the
violence.
Only difference between now and put a number on it, because I don't know what number it is. It's way back then, 50,000 years ago, the first existence of human beings, whatever you call them, you know, Neanderthals, cavemen, you know, I know Homo sapiens are the upright version, but there was another word for all of that. But every time, the only thing that's changed from way back then to now is the power of our weapons. We're still a tribal, insecure species who is constantly trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see golden labs killing black labs. You know, other species don't murder themselves. I don't understand.
And we look for reasons.
Yeah. And then most of the time it's political anymore. Or you got oil and I want it. That's typical.
There's a big conversation piece there, and it covers everything that we'll ever discuss, and that's this. At some point, we condition the world that you don't talk about politics or religion, while at the same time politicizing and religifying every conversational topic that you could possibly discuss.
I will discuss any subject, but politics and religion are off topic when I'm drinking, because I don't. No, that's a.
See, to me, politics is like watching. I say I can't watch a TV show; it doesn't keep my attention. Well, the series of Earth is just. Yeah, I like watching real documentaries. I like watching.
See, that's where I'm at.
Earth, and I like watching Shark Week, and I like watching human beings completely fail society while claiming it's for the benefit.
I've gotten to the point where I will sit down in my chair after I get off work, and usually I get home, I take a shower, or I get home and I do any afternoon chores that I have to do. And then by the time I sit down, it's usually 6:30, 7 o'clock. Well, I get up at 4:30 every morning. So by 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'm getting sleepy. So, man, I'll sit down and I'll look at my watch and I'm like, I got an hour and a half. What am I going to do? And I'll end up watching 5 or 6 15-minute YouTube videos and going to bed instead of watching some movie on Hulu. Because I just feel like I can pick and choose what content I want to watch.
Our grandchildren are going to come home from school and they're going to be like, yeah, today we learned blah, blah, blah. Me and you are going to be like, whoa. And you sit down right here. Let me
sit down here on that chair right there, son. Let me tell you how it's done. Or something like that.
You just have a seat right there. We're going to have a little talk. But, you know what? It's been a couple hours. Let's wrap this up, and next week.
Let's wrap it up.
We got some changes coming up. We got some improvements coming up, and
yep.
Excited.
Try to work on the overall flow and formula, and try to start getting a little bit more professional equipment in here so we can get things sounding and hopefully looking good soon.
And we're actually going to put together some newer forms of content and quit making you stare at one picture for hours. So we'll see you next week. Topics will be a surprise.
Never know what the topics might be.
Even when we tell you what the topics are, we change them the whole time.
I will give you a hint. It'll be more local based because we're not going to discuss Asia.
No,
we might even discuss this country.
Malaysia. Yeah. Or Turkmenistan. But until next week, I'm Justin Keys.
And I'm John Burgess.
And you've been sitting in the middle of the road.